Mary's eyes are so fixed on finding Jesus that the angels don't even impress her. Y'all get that? There's two angels sitting in the tomb of Jesus. And she walk in there and she's not like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Can I touch you? Can I see what you do when you walk through walls? Like, she ain't concerned about none of that. She's crying, eyes filled with tears. She can't find Jesus. The second, but sad thing is, Mary's eyes are fixed on finding the wrong version of Jesus, so much so that when she sees the right one, she easily mistakes him for a gardener. Now, let's be charitable to Mary here. There's likely a bunch of water in her face called tears that she cannot clearly see through. It's also a possibility that this was so early in the day that it could have been a little darker and she probably couldn't see. Or, I don't know if you paid attention to the details, Jesus did leave his burial garments in the tomb. And so he might have pulled the Incredible Hulk and found the nearest outfit he can put on. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that for a second. And if it was in a garden, then maybe there was some gardener clothes there so that Mary would see that and distinguish, oh, that's just a garden. It's possible. We don't know that. Some would even say it's possible that God had shielded her from seeing who he was until he had penetrated her heart with his voice, with him saying her name. Either way, y'all, Mary came to the tomb looking for a version of Jesus that does not exist. A counterfeit version of Jesus. If Jesus were still laying in that tomb, then he would not have been who he said he was. She came looking for the wrong version of Jesus. And the crazy thing about that is, we in cultures can so often be guilty of that. If you like me and you've seen a few versions of the wrong version of Jesus, then you recognize that we can be guilty of that too. We can show up, put on our Easter fit. We can show up on Sunday, like Pastor Dave described, trying to pretend like we got it all together just to pursue the wrong version of Jesus. Y'all like, what do you mean? Anybody ever run into prosperity Jesus before? The one who only came so that you may have it good in this world? The one who gave you his word so that you can use it against hurt, harm, danger, suffering, or any kind of thing that could go wrong in your experience? See, this Jesus is the one who promises no suffering in this life, only health, wealth, and a mansion on the other side. Or what about the death insurance Jesus? The one that I grew up proclaiming to. The one who only came to make sure you get into heaven when you die. He doesn't care about the life that you live right now or how you treat other people. He only cares about when you die, you get a get out of hell free card. Doesn't care about the restoration of the world, just so you can get in there. I know oftentimes I see Patriot Jesus. I'm just saying. Patriot Jesus, the one who renders to Caesar the heart that belongs to God alone. This for God and country kind of Jesus that often blurs the line between God and country. See, this is the kind of Jesus who's okay with your neighbor's kids being in cages and caskets as long as your kids are in comfortable classrooms. The kind of Jesus that leads to maybe even possibly a nationalist Jesus. The one who cares about only the welfare of America or maybe even Israel, but has no real regard to the rest of the people in the world. This is the kind of Jesus that wants you to build more walls and less bridges. Y'all seen this kind of Jesus before. I know I'm not talking up here to myself. But don't go too far because we got liberal Jesus. There's all kind of versions of Jesus. The liberal Jesus who only cares about love and tolerance with no real concern for making us holy and new and calling us to stand on his truth. This Jesus would rather rewrite or altogether throw out the commands of his Father as if there were no aid to us understanding his heart. But with liberal Jesus often comes conservative Jesus. The Jesus who only values preserving the protocol instead of actually the people that the protocols were intended to protect. The kind of Jesus that the Pharisees would get down with. Has no real concern for the woes of his neighbor at all. Y'all, the list goes on. I've seen social gospel Jesus before. The one who only came to overthrow wicked governing systems, but has no desire to establish his never-ending kingdom rule, which, by the way, influences governing bodies to bring about the good for the individual and the whole. There's quick fix Jesus. And keep going, y'all. There's quick fix Jesus. That's that Jesus that only wants to see you on Christmas and Easter so you can get your spiritual quick fix, but he doesn't care about having a relationship with you for the other 365 days of the year. It's quick fix Jesus. Lord, I need you in this moment. Thank you. I'll be back in when you see me. What about just the prophet Jesus? That most world religions wants to say he is. They would like to say that the Jesus of Nazareth is only the one who came to teach us good quotables and be an example for us to righteousness, but is not God in flesh, did not die on the cross for our sins, and is not worthy of our full devotion. But what about just the prophet Jesus? All of them are still in that tomb, y'all. There's only one that came out. That's the real Jesus. Y'all probably seen Good Luck Charm Jesus come out the tomb. He didn't. That's the Jesus who only wants us to pray before and after ball games and board meetings and thank him at award shows and speeches, but doesn't care about the body of our work that got us in that position of honor. Y'all, these Jesuses get crazy. But don't get me wrong. The real, alive Jesus cares about all of those things, but he will not be co-opted by any of them. You will not assign the God of all creation to your thing and use him like Genie Jesus. You won't be able to do it. I tried. I know. That's why I can say this. And maybe those Jesuses they're not something you've ever experienced before, seen, or even looked to. But I know at least a few of us in this room have tried to find replacement Jesus. Y'all know who that is, right? That's the Jesus that is not even like Jesus at all. He promises hope for us at the end of a bottle. He's a counterfeit satisfaction on adult websites. Replacement Jesus. He's the surge of power from verbal and physical, even spiritual abuse. Replacement Jesus. The one who's the momentary ecstasy of physical intimacy with someone who's not your spouse. He could possibly be the numbing neglect of sobriety from your drug of choice. Like replacing Jesus for all these things. We think it'll work, but it won't. Y'all, I'm done talking about counterfeit Jesuses. It took too much time already. But those counterfeit Jesuses, there's well over 10, and I didn't even talk about Black Israelite Jesus or white Jesus. I didn't even go down that road. There's a massive debates out there. But those and these are all grave fillers. They're not grave robbers, y'all. They're not. So the question that we have to center ourselves around this morning and ask ourselves in the depths that was asked of Mary, who are you looking for today? Who are you looking for? Because if it was any of those, he's still in the tomb. You have better luck finding him.